What are the spoilers for Beyond the Gates on September 26th? The spoilers for Beyond the Gates on Friday, September 26th, confirm that Joey Armstrong will be delivering some serious warnings. However, the drama doesn't stop there. Nicole Dupree comforts Vanessa McBride, Jan and Mona discuss Leslie, and speaking of Leslie, she has a big gift for Eva. Joey Armstrong has never been one to give in or stop at harmless warnings. Every sentence he utters is like a sentence hanging over the heads of those who dare to betray, and this time is no exception. Joey knows the weight of reputation, of keeping his word, and he also knows that in this world covered in secrets and hidden schemes, any hesitation can make him the loser. Doug is a name Joey cannot ignore. He saw in Doug's eyes the seeds of betrayal, the calculations that could destroy the entire plan he had built. Jealousy was only part of it, but the more dangerous truth was that Doug knew too much and even intended to seek Bill's support, a decision that for Joey was like a slap in the face. For Joey, it was the final step that cost Doug, because no one could protect someone who dared to cross the fragile line between loyalty and betrayal. But while Joey was planning to bury Doug, Vanessa was caught up in a complicated emotional spiral. The recent trip with Joey seemed to bring peace after months of chaos, but just one phone call was enough to destroy everything. The bad news about Doug not only shocked her, but also stirred up a chain of conflicts in her heart that had never been extinguished. Vanessa was both a victim of lies and a traitor, and now she was on the brink of irreversible loss. When she turns to Nicole, she hopes for comfort, but deep inside, the obsession with Joey and his involvement in Doug's possible death gnaws at her every moment. Nicole can stand by her side, but she cannot help Vanessa face the most terrible question. If Doug dies, is Joey the mastermind behind it? Inside Vanessa, a fierce battle begins. On one hand, Doug's death may free her from the judgment and guilt of the affair being exposed. But on the other, the loss plunges her into a deeper state of guilt, because she knows that her betrayal contributed to Doug's dangerous predicament. Joey, the person who once made her feel like she could be herself, is now the person she might have to doubt the most. This struggle left Vanessa breathless. Should she continue to protect Joey and remain silent, or should she confront him, question him, and even choose to abandon the blind love that had ruined everything? Joey, in contrast to Vanessa's inner turmoil, was frighteningly cold. In his eyes, everything was under control. He did not allow emotions to interfere with his decisions, and if Doug was really eliminated, it was just the inevitable price to pay. Joey believed that to maintain his power and his secret, he needed to be decisive, not giving anyone a chance to fight back. He knew Vanessa was suffering, but in Joey's calculations, emotions were just tools, never allowed to become weaknesses. He was willing to turn her own pain into a wall separating her from the truth, to keep himself safe. However, what Joey could not completely control was Vanessa's unstable heart. If the truth comes out that he played a role in Doug's death, Vanessa will be forced to choose. To remain silent means accepting a life of deception and complicity, but confronting her will cost her everything, including the love she once believed would save her. Although both paths lead to tragedy, Vanessa cannot escape the nagging question. Will Doug's death be the end of her torment, or will it open a new hell where she loses both her husband and her lover, and more importantly, her very identity in the world of Beyond the Gates? Nothing is random, no warning is unnecessary. Joey has unleashed a storm that no one can avoid, and Vanessa will be the one to feel the first fragments. As the truth gradually emerges, the audience will be left wondering. Between forbidden love and loyalty to a broken marriage, which path will Vanessa choose? And more importantly, does she still have the strength to make any more choices, or is it all too late? In another development, Leslie reappears like a whirlwind sweeping through Fairmont Crest, carrying with her aura of sudden wealth that both surprises and angers everyone. For those who knew her, this change is like a knife wound straight to their pride. Jan and Mona, who are used to seeing through the secrets hidden behind the flashy facade, immediately sensed the abnormality. A huge sum of money appearing out of nowhere without a reasonable explanation, becomes even more of a thorn in their side. With their sensitive nature and never-ending curiosity, the two begin to dig deeper, like treasure hunters in a rotten garden, hoping to discover something shocking enough to knock Leslie down again. But Leslie is no longer the woman who was pushed into a corner like before. Now she is different. Cold, powerful, and confident enough to challenge everything. The sudden wealth not only gave her the ability to control the situation, but also became a sharp weapon against all criticism. For Leslie, forgiveness was never on the list of things she needed, and the contempt of others only made her more excited. She wore the cover of a winner, someone who did not care about the consequences of past actions. All suspicious eyes, all whispers could not penetrate the armor built for money and power. However, what stunned Fairmont Crest the most was the gift Leslie prepared for Eva. A gift that was not simply a display of wealth, but a direct blow to the fragile heart of the recipient. Eva, who was struggling in the vortex of family tragedy, caught up in invisible plots and pressures, now became the center of a calculating game. Leslie understood that a surprise gift, thrown at the right time, could destroy Eva's already fragile balance, pushing her to make difficult choices and confront those around her. Jan and Mona, witnessing this scene, became even more suspicious. For them, the gift was not just a show-off but also a sign of a much more sophisticated plot. They saw in Leslie's eyes a challenge and a sarcastic smile, as if provoking the whole community. They knew Leslie never did anything without calculation, and giving Eva a gift was certainly not out of kindness or redemption. It could be a spark to ignite a new war, or worse, a mental trap that would leave Eva in a state of hopeless confusion. Deep down, Leslie no longer seemed to crave love or recognition. What she wanted was absolute power that came not only from money but also from the ability to control the emotions and fates of those who had once looked down on her. When she places the gift in Eva's hands, it's not just a false generosity, but a message that Leslie is back, stronger and more ruthless than ever. And as Fairmont Crest rumbles, as Jan and Mona embark on a quest for the truth, the power play enters a new chapter, where every move carries the potential for collapse. Shanice is not the type of person who is good at keeping quiet. During her days at Fairmont Crest, she has always been known to speak her mind, to express her feelings immediately, and often her impulsiveness has put her in difficult situations. But this time is different. This time, she is carrying a huge secret, a piece that can change the entire situation between Derek and Ashley. She knows that this truth is not simply news, it is a double-edged sword. It can both save and destroy. And when the door of fate has opened, Shanice suddenly finds herself pushed into the role of a watchman, the only one who knows the truth but is forced to choose between personal feelings and the naked truth. Derek, after a long time living in darkness and despair, has finally reached something that is almost a miracle. He is standing on the border between life and resurrection, and what Shanice knows is the key. If the secret were exposed, Derek's entire world would change forever. But the paradox was, Ashley, the closest person, the one who loved him dearly, was completely unaware. The more Shanice watched Ashley innocently believe that Derek was gradually escaping the abyss, the more she felt the burden in her heart grow. The silence turned into suffocating pressure, each passing day like a tightening steel ring, forcing her to choose between loyalty and betrayal. The question that haunted Shanice the most was she silent for Derek or for herself? In the moment she saw Derek smile, saw him regain hope, she believed that this silence was a gift she could give him. A little peace, a little safety before the storm came. But deep down, Shanice also realized that this silence meant she became an accomplice in a dangerous game. If Ashley finds out, she will feel betrayed not only by Derek, but also by Shanice, the friend she once trusted. Time is not on Shanice's side. Every moment she keeps a secret is a moment of heightened tension. Nicole may notice signs of trouble, Anita will certainly not miss the opportunity to scrutinize, and even Joey, sensitive to the scent of unease, may pierce the fragile silence. Shanice knows that she can only hide for a limited time, because at Fairmont Crest, no secret lasts forever. When the truth comes out, it will threaten not only Derek and Ashley, but also the peace she is trying to cling to, and the final question echoes in her mind. When everything falls apart, who will be left standing? Derek, who is resurrected by miracle but based on a foundation of lies? Ashley, the blind lover left in the dark of the truth? Or Shanice, the one who kept the secret for so long that she turned into a traitor herself? Shanice sat alone in the dark room, her hands clenched tightly around the notebook she had used to jot down the chaotic fragments of her thoughts over the past few days. She had never felt so trapped between two paths with no way out. In her mind, Derek kept appearing. The man who had gradually emerged from the darkness, the man she had watched fall into the abyss of pain, now smiling again as if the world had opened a new chapter. But she knew what no one else, not even Ashley, could know. This miracle was more than just luck. It was tied to a dangerous truth that could shatter their entire lives if it were revealed. Shanice's struggle wasn't just about keeping or revealing secrets, but also about her inner battle between loyalty and fear of betrayal. She wondered if she was keeping quiet because she loved Derek, wanted him to have more time to enjoy the peaceful moments, or because she didn't dare face the consequences when the truth broke out. Every time she saw Ashley hug Derek with the firm belief that he was recovering, Shanice felt her chest tighten. She knew that once Ashley discovered that she had known the truth all along but had not told him, that trust would collapse, and Shanice would lose both the friendship and respect she had tried so hard to maintain for so long. The Ashley-Derek relationship, already fragile, was now more fragile than ever. They were living in a beautiful illusion, but Shanice knew that illusion was like a thin layer of mist that soon disappeared when the sun rose. Ashley loved Derek so much that she turned a blind eye to the abnormalities, believing that as long as her love was strong enough, all wounds would heal on their own. Derek clings to that love like a lifeline, but he's also building his happiness on a secret that could sink them both at any moment. Shanice, in the role of the truth keeper, feels like she's standing on a rotten wooden bridge where every step could send them all tumbling over the edge. The potential consequences of this truth are like a time bomb. Once the secret is exposed, Ashley will not only find herself betrayed by Derek, but also by Shanice. The feeling of being deceived by both lover and best friend will be devastating for Ashley. She may never forgive, and in that pain, her love for Derek will turn to hatred. Her friendship with Shanice will become a scar that will never heal. Derek, despite his miracle of fate, will suffer the price of hiding. Absolute loneliness, irreparable loss. Shanice knows all of this, and that is why she can't sleep every night, struggling with every breath. She can no longer see the clear line between right and wrong, between protection and betrayal. Her silence may bring Derek a few weeks, a few months of happiness, but the price may be the permanent destruction of all the relationships they once held dear. She wasn't sure she had the courage to bear the consequences, but she wasn't cruel enough to tell the truth now. When Derek was smiling for the first time in so much pain and in that struggle, Shanice felt like she was holding a key that could open two doors. One that led to the painful but liberating truth, the other that held a fragile illusion that was increasingly at risk of collapsing. Whichever path she chose, she would lose something important. And what terrified her most was not her choice, but the moment that secret would be exposed to the light, leaving her no chance to decide. When that happened, not only would Ashley or Derek fall, but she herself would be drawn into a spiral of guilt and irreversible consequences. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video. All the content I make is just speculation and personal sharing. If you find the video interesting and useful, please support me with a like and leave a comment. If you have better ideas or more interesting speculations, please share them in the comments section for everyone to discuss. I appreciate all your contributions and support. Sincerely, thank you.